Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Urban Informatics over coffee. You're having a coffee today with Ellen, who will be walking you through how to find all the different planning strategies that are going in your area, whether you're looking to develop and you want to know what the priorities are, or if you're just interested in knowing what's going on around you. So in this instance, we're going to be looking at government documents, but where do they live? We'll start with local government documents. So if we Google the council you're interested in this case it's Boroondara Council, and we go to their council website. The council websites all look very different, and sometimes their documents are hard to find. We can see we already have one here, Boroondara Housing Strategy, which is currently open for engagement. So that's one that's in the works. But where is like their council plan and whatnot? If there's not an obvious option up the top, I usually just go to wherever their about council is. And this one over here, which talks about policies, is probably a good way to start. Policy, plans and strategies, and council documents, reports. They all sound like we're heading in the right direction. So if we scroll down their policies, plans and strategies, obviously you can pick out whichever ones pertain to you or that you're interested in. Some key ones might be Boroondara Community Plan, so we'll open that one in a new tab, and we'll pick out another one, maybe Climate Action Plan. We'll open the PDF. You can see here that this plan is incorporating the 10-year community vision and the council's plan. The council plan is, every council will have one. They're the big overarching documents which have all their, their guiding principles and the vision for the council area and all that jazz. So if we scroll through here, you can see that their community vision is a sustainable and inclusive community. So if you're building something within Boroondara Council and you can go to council and say, look, this is a development that will help the community be sustainable and inclusive, that will go down very well with the people who are approving it at council's end. I won't dig too deeply into this document though, so we'll close this one. We'll have a quick look at their climate action plan, which is not a document, it's just on their website, but that is fine. Actions and themes, looks pretty hierarchy. And then if we look at their 5 themes, if we have, again, a development that's, energy efficient, uses renewable energy, has lots of greenery, incorporates water, close to transport, and has a circular economy in terms of waste, whether that's wastewater or rubbish waste. If your development does that and you can show that to council, that's a big green tick. So everything that you should be aiming for should be found at first at the council level in their websites. Moving on to the second place, which is kind of a hybrid between local government and state government, is Victorian planning schemes. So this is more official than the documents at the local council level, because the council documents are more like a nice to have, that's what the council is aiming for, whereas a development will be answerable to everything in the planning schemes. A lot of the council staff will also be embedded into the planning scheme, so it's not completely lost. So we'll zoom in to Boroondara Council, that one. And this is the home of everything planning-wise. So you've got your zones, overlays, particular provisions and all that jazz. The key ones are the municipal planning strategy. So this is where council embeds their vision. A vibrant and inclusive city meeting the needs and aspirations of the community. Not quite the same words as the community plan, but maybe it's changed since this was last updated in 2022. So your development will be answerable to all these things. So you need to prove to council and prove to the state government that your project supports a natural environment that is healthy and sustainable for future generations, etc., etc. And then it dives deeper into your strategic directions down here. And for example, council's strategic directions are to ensure high quality urban design standards in development. So if you don't have that in your development, council could come back to you and say you need to include this, this and this in your design before we will say yes, you can go ahead and build that. And if I just pick a random zone, the residential growth zone, you can see the purpose of each individual zone, overlay, what have you. And you see if you're building in the residential growth zone, you need to ensure that your development encourages a diversity of housing types in locations offering good access to service and transport, including activity centres and town centres. So nowhere in Victoria will you be designing on a blank slate of land. There'll be always strategies and purposes and visions that apply that you should be designing for. So the next place to find strategies and guidelines is the state government website. And in Victoria, that's the Department of Transport and Planning. So on their homepage, we'll be interested in their planning information. And then again, we'll be interested in the visit planning section of their website. So if we scroll down, again, we're looking for anything that says policy or strategy. And I know straight away, policies and initiatives, that's probably what I'm looking for. So here they have outlined all the documents that are currently in action around the state. So if you know you're doing an urban design project, you need to read Victoria's guideline for urban design. If you're planning in waterways, you need to read this one. If your project's in a BMO or a BPA, you should be reading this document, Planning for Bushfire Protection. And fun fact, that is a drawing that I did back in the heyday. Housing strategy planning initiatives, there's so many documents that you need to be reading and referring if it's not already embedded into your brain. And the key one, of course, is Plan Melbourne 2050. That is probably the biggest one in terms of planning, urban design, even built form. This is what Victoria is aiming for, and you really should have a read of this and make sure any project that you're designing answers to what Melbourne is trying to achieve. So if I visit the Plan Melbourne website, they have different versions you can download. So we'll just look at a summary in PDF. So this is what the state is hoping for Melbourne and beyond Melbourne, like I think it includes Geelong, aiming for a global city of opportunity and choice. Again, scrolling down, that they have various layers to what we're aiming for: principles, outcomes, directions, and policies. A lot of this will be done at the government level, but if it's a major state project, like a major housing development in the inner city, you'll be looking to achieve that 20-minute neighbourhood principle. And then it goes down further into outcomes. And if we just pick one to look at, Melbourne is a distinctive and livable city with quality design and amenity. If you're designing in the public realm, it needs to be great, obviously. Respect Melbourne's heritage. These are all very high level, and again, it's broken down again. So there's lots of things guiding what we should be designing for in certain areas. And it's always good to read the applicable ones for whatever you're doing. And I will end on a final note for the federal government. I'm now on the Department of Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development, Communications and the Arts website, which is a federal department. And you can see they do some space in the city and urban realm, but it's mostly for funding more than anything. So we don't really refer to federal policies very much in the planning and design space. But if you're interested, you can find things here too. Like they have, for example, they have the Thriving Cities program, which is, like I said, competitive with grants awarded on merit basis. But if you're achieving the goals of the program or the goals of the federal government, then you'll get these grants. So that's it. I hope that gave you a nice quickish overview of what you should be looking for or aiming for in terms of designing in Victoria and designing more particularly in Melbourne. And Melbourne is renowned for its great coffee, so we're all very lucky to be living here. So go out and experience all the cute coffee shops, and I will see you in the next video.